Hey everyone, Hawk here. And have you ever found yourself skimming through YouTube or Twitch or X and come across one of your favorite content creators or, a political commentator and looking at some of the stuff they've been saying and probably a video they made and thinking, wow, I really agree with that. And then noticing that the video is probably 10 years old, 5 years old, the comments are a decade old, and thinking, how are we still talking about the same things so many years later? Well, the reason for that is the fact that it's just political slop. Now, it's only come to me, recently, and been browsing through a few threads and seeing videos, and I started to notice how so much of the discourse today is still the same discourse we were having back in 2014. Now, I can. It's one of those things where you think, oh, is it because it's new people coming along and finding new stuff out, and oh, we're opening the doors to more people to join our sides, and then I notice that it's the same creators saying the same things they were saying all those years ago, and it comes to a point where we actually start having to realize that maybe, just maybe, it's all just a slop circle, as in all this is just for revenue. This isn't about solving issues. This isn't about even bringing issues to the forefront. This is just content creators going, I need to make money. And I've noticed this with a lot of them, and you'll see the same videos about how they'll say to you, the left is insane. And you're like, okay, well, we knew that all those years ago when they started, with Brexit, how they responded to that, how they responded to Trump, how they respond to anything right wing. And then I noticed it also in entertainment, recently with the Odyssey and also the Halo remake, and how people are still having the same conversations about the same type of stuff that I was hearing back in 2014, but no solutions to anything. No, this is how we're going to solve this. This is how we're going to move on from this. This is what we should do. And I've realized that the reason for this is because complaining is a moneymaker these days. Now, I don't do any of my YouTube or any of my Twitter for any money or any revenue or anything like that. I just do it because I want to say stuff online. I want to, put my opinion across, and I do actually want to solve some issues. Now, I'm not the, I'm not the big brain think of everything. I'm more than happy to hold my hands up and say, listen, I do not have all the answers to solve all these things, but I'm more than willing to support people who do, or join forces with people who want to do something. But what I'm not willing to do is just hash out constant content that literally boils down to the same talking points repeated over and over and over again. And you'll know exactly who these people are. You'll know exactly which creators they are, which organizations they are, which streams and which videos and which accounts they are. The ones who are constantly complaining about everything, but then there's no resolutions, there's no solutions. It's the same stuff. And I point back to, obviously, I'm going to bring in the Halo thing. They'll still buy this Halo game to complain about it. They'll still go to the Odyssey and watch it to complain about it. They'll still complain about the system, but then when given an opportunity to join, say, a new party, they'll call it a waste of time. They'll say it's, oh, it's been subverted, the Zog, the this, the that, and you start to realize, hang on a second, you are perfectly fine with the complaints. And I'll be honest with you, I think it's because a certain few accounts have made millions of dollars and pounds complaining, and I think a lot of people think, I can get on this. I could make a bit of money here. I'll get verified on X. I'll get my YouTube channel up and I'll get, monetization, and I'll start making money. But the issue is when you do that, you've got to keep creating content. And the easiest content to create is complaining. Complaining is the easiest content. It's why you'll notice on my channel there's months go past or even years go past with no content. And that's because it's not there for money. It's there because I feel passionate about what I want to talk about. If you ever noticed, there's not much editing goes into these videos. It's literally me sat down wherever I can sit down in front of a phone or a camera, just saying stuff as it comes into my head. So there's no editing, there's no script, there's nothing like that. It's just, I need to say this, what I want to say, blah, 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 the usual spiel. The issue is the people who make the content, edit it, and then push it out there to receive a revenue. Well, you're never going to get a solution from that person, because a solution ends that revenue. Like if everything got solved tomorrow, I'm glad that I can just switch this YouTube channel off. It'd be like, all right, well, I've done my bit. There's nothing more for me to say. See you later, bye. That's it. Whereas these other people, they create their livelihoods are behind, why they make this content. And so what you have is this sliding scale of whether they want to actually, how far do they go before they go, actually, my revenue is going to start coming down. Because I say a person like, say, Fuentes, he's never going to want things to be solved properly, because then, the angry young men are not going to watch him. They're not going to send him money, to listen to him rant about the world, because, well, the problems have been solved. And so he's going to lose a lucrative job. You see the accounts in the UK of people, like, who will be saying everything, going, oh, well, this is how the country's bad, this is how it's bad. And it's like, what's the solution to it? It's like, well, we don't really know, because if we do the solution, well, then our subscribers will go down, and our viewership will go down, and then and so this is a major problem on the right. Whereas the left, well, they just get money from government subsidies. So they at this moment in time, they have actually won, because they're mainly ones in power, but they still receive their money whether no one watches their channel, because the government's paying for it to pump out propaganda. And it's like, well, the right needs people to be, viewers. They need, something to hook people in. And unfortunately, that's complaining. And like I said, if the complaints stop, well, the viewerships aren't going to be bothering anymore. And what we get is an endless cycle of slop, where we are still just at this bare basic beginning of, getting the shouting contest with leftists, getting into like, debates and stuff like this. And no one's thought, well, when do we get to step two? When do we get to step two and actually start going, right, no, this is our battle plans. This is how we're going to, take back power. This is how we're going to do this. And what you'll find is, whenever anybody comes up and goes, any movement, any party, any political figure starts to go, right, let's move on from this basic slop. Let's actually start putting a plan together. Let's actually start, building something. What you'll see is the same people come out again and again and again and just sabotage it straight away. And you'll see in my last video where I'm talking about the LARPers and the people who aren't, who are a bit delusional in what they're thinking. Well, they'll start coming in and telling you, no, don't bother with that. Don't bother with that. I mean, from day one with Restore, it's been the same. How ridiculous it is, how stupid it is, all this, what a waste of time. And just recently, I've seen two comments on X from two people who have been complaining about Restore for ages, and they're now complaining that there's no movements to help, to combat the left. And I'm like, well, of course there isn't. Well, there is, but you don't like that movement. So, you're deliberately sabotaging any movement and then complaining. It's like, wow, the absolute gall of some people to be like, Oh yeah, well, oh, I'm going to sabotage that. Oh, but there's no movement. Where's the movement? Well, you're sabotaging it. You attack us all the time. You do this, you do that, and it just, like I say, once, hello cat. Are you come up to say hello? Are you tired of the slop as well? Oh yeah, are you tired of the slop? I'm tired of the slop. The only problem is now she'll probably want to sit on me throughout the entire video. Go on, go on. That's what you're fighting for, the freedoms of your cat. Um, but back onto the topic. It is a serious issue that we have got to solve. We have got to start saying to everybody, no more slop. Let's move. Sorry, cat, go. No more slop. No more rubbish. No more of this. Oh well, Islam is very radical and it's violent. It's like, yes, we know. We know you are preaching to the choir now. Like the vast majority of people in the UK know this now. I mean, there's terror attacks, all this sort of stuff. Yeah, we know. Let's move on to the next step. Oh, the left are trying to trans kids. Yes, we know. Let's move on to the next step. Oh well, see this Green Party person. He's a radical communist. Yeah, yeah. They're not even lying about it. They're not even being subtle anymore. You're trying to make out that all these things are like brand new, when the vast majority of us have known this for ages. The general public have known this for years. The issue is, and this is something that I've said before, the issue is we've got to start convincing people that we have the solutions to their problems. It's all right saying there are problems. That's great. Everyone knows there are problems. What are the solutions? And that's why it's um, becoming an issue, and this is why we're not getting as many people over here. Because, like I say, with Makerfield, let's look at Makerfield. Reform went in there and were negative. They were just completely negative. So people didn't really want to vote for him because they were negative. Obviously, you had other stuff on top of that, with obviously Andy Burnham and getting Keir Starmer out. But we've seen repeatedly that it's just negativity. You can't be negative. Everyone knows the country's screwed. How do we solve it? Right, this is how we solve. Well, this is what we do. It's like, why Restore bringing out policies which are 100 pages long and everything like that, and people go, oh, it's a waste of time. Listen, they're actually doing a second step. They're actually going to that second step. Whereas you lot are all just going, well, I'm trying to be the edgiest person on X, and that will give me an audience. It's like, excellent. You have now a little audience while the country burns. What do we do? And you're like, I don't know. I've got my money. See you later. Bye bye. And we're still at step one, square one. What what are we actually doing here? Because I mean, I can sit on here and just be like, oh, another a car attack was driven into like a pride parade in Berlin. That's terrible. Oh, how terrible is it? Oh, they've done it again. Whoa. They're trying to put puberty blockers on the NHS. Oh, Andy Burnham's a socialist who's just trying to raise more taxes to look after people on welfare. Oh, wages are stagnating. Oh, the country's going down. Immigration's too high. Excellent. We've all said it. We've all said it now. There's numerous channels now that have said that. But there isn't a channel going, let's do this as a solution. This is how we should solve it. This is what we're going to do to fix this issue. So from now on this channel, I'll be making videos where I try to actually make solutions to issues as best as I can. Because like I say, I'm not some political Goliath. I'm not some, university educated toff who, has sat through and read all the philosophers and all the, political political experts and political, niche and all this sort of stuff, nuance. I'm a man who has a family who doesn't want to see his country crash and burn, and I will try and think of solutions as best I can. But I don't think moving forward, especially for the right, I don't think just rehashing the same slop from 2014 is moving us anywhere. Because as we can all see, and in basic conversations with people, the general public understands all the issues, but what they're really crying out for is a solution. And the issue is the left can just say, "Oh, well, we'll just knock 5p off of a pint or something like that," and the people will lap it up because, well, it's a solution. They've got like the people have got two choices at the moment in time, and it's the silly boomer slop that the left are handing out to people, and it's the normie slop. I mean, the normie slop of like, oh, we're just going to do this slight thing, and they'll lap it up because oh, it's a solution. Or they go to the right, and currently it's the right's just sticking their nose up and trying to lecture people on what Socrates would have done, and it's like, no offense, but the vast majority of the working class doesn't give two flying fucks what a Greek philosopher or a Roman senator or some Enlightenment professor thought about the socio-economic situations. They don't care. What they actually think is, how am I feeding my family? How am I getting immigration down? How am I making it so that my nation can succeed to a point where future generations can live a happy life? And we're not doing that. Restore are trying to do that, and at every step there's always some knobhead. I'm not going to say this in the politest way possible. Some utter knobhead who was just like, well, actually, they're not completely, radically right wing. Who are all, hang on, I'll just do this with new glasses. Actually, I think you'll find that they're not completely ethno-nationalist Nazis, who are going to genocide every single Jew and black out of the world, and so I can't support them because they're just 2 inches to the left of me. That's literally it. That's literally what it sounds like. It actually just sounds like majority of the time right wing political snobs who have made a bit of cash out of it and don't want the revenue to end. Anyway, that's my that's my rant for the day. But I thought I'd try to explain some thoughts in my head and stuff. And like I say, moving forward, we can't just be complaining. We've got to start trying to think of solutions, and also telling people why we need to finally get to step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5 of getting our country back. Because otherwise, if you're just happy just listening to the same talking heads complain about the same thing forever, well, hooray, we've reached that. You can just go back and watch old episodes of those shows and talking about the same stuff. There's no point in carrying on anymore. What's the, like I say, what's the point of having a shouting competition on X with a leftist who doesn't care? They don't care about your opinion. They don't care. They're never going to be convinced of your thinking or of your viewpoint. They've already made their mind up. So what's the point of it? You're just involved in a slop argument. Oh, someone said this on one of the podcasts that I watched. Well, yeah, they said that 10 years ago. Well done. It's it. Yeah. We've got to move past the slop. It's endless slop. We've got to move past the slop and move past just move past it. And that's all I have. Thank you for watching, and I'll see if I can make some more videos trying to put solutions out there. If anyone's got any questions or topics they'd like to talk about, and want me to have an idea of what solutions we could put forward, to just put down in the comments. I'm thinking of starting up a stream, but a stream where we can talk and we can put our heads together and start thinking more for the future, and not just spend an hour complaining, where we can actually go, hang on, well, this is an issue. What can we do to resolve it? What can we do to rectify this? What can we put forward to make things better? Like, I know I said that the video is over, but like with gaming, stop buying the damn games. If you see some woke crap, don't buy it. In fact, don't even bother responding to anything. Give them no media attention. Black it out, because I'll hate it, because they want ad revenue. Don't do it. You see a terrible movie on, don't watch it. Right? if you have to see something so you can talk about it, watch a reviewer who does it, right? But remind these reviewers, but make sure that it's something like, so I say, only the reviewers buying these copies. Don't spend your own money. And in fact, tell the reviewers, we don't care about it. We don't care about listening about how crap this game is, because it's crap. We know it's going to be crap. So Halo, we know it's going to be crap. Don't buy it. Don't bother with it. Don't interact with it. The Odyssey, we know it's going to be crap. Don't bother with it. Don't go and spend your money to then say, well, I saw it and this is what I thought. It doesn't have to do it. Just, it's rubbish. Just ignore it. Ignore it completely. Like with politics. Oh, leftist says that. Right. I don't care what that leftist says. I'm moving forward with my belief and my views, and this is why I'm doing this. Oh, this leftist doesn't agree with me. I don't care. I don't care that they don't agree with me. They've never agreed with me. Right, no. Gone. No debate, no talking. You don't, yeah, that's fine. Go away. Move forward to your next, point. Don't get bogged down in rubbish and bullshit, because you're gonna end up spending more time arguing or trying to justify something than actually doing something, and that's the main issue. Right, I have definitely spoken way too long, to the point where I think if this was played in schools and stuff, there'd be kids jumping. But yeah, I'll see what I can do with more videos and more stuff. But like I say, if you got any topics where you think, oh, I'd like a solution to this, or I'd like an answer to it, I'm more than happy to make a video trying to find the solution. If I don't, that's because I have no idea how to solve that one, because like I say, not a political Goliath. I'm not a big brained intellectual, I'm just a bloke with a camera, and as people have seen, a cat, and obviously wife and kids. But yeah, anyway, that's all for today. So take care and see you on the next one.